Go.
Hello, this is Christy Jo King, president of NASW Pennsylvania. NASW is encouraging all social workers to go out and vote in the primary elections on May 18th. Voting is social work. Advocacy is social work. It's so important that we get out there and let our voices be heard. The NASW Board of Directors met to officially give stance on the ballot initiatives. We're encouraging you to vote no, no, yes. And to tell you more, I'll pass it over to Joanna Bird.
Hi, everyone. I just want to tell you a little bit more about both what the initiatives are and why they're relevant to social work. The first two constitutional amendments relate to the governor's power to declare and manage emergencies for the Commonwealth. These include all sorts of emergencies, including not just the COVID-19 pandemic, but also the opioid epidemic, any management of natural disasters, etc. And social workers, of course, are always connected to responding to disasters. So these things relate directly to social workers. So that goes to, why do social workers care? Well, every time the governor declares an emergency, it gives nonprofits abilities to access additional funding. It gets to procurement issues so that state agencies, schools, universities can acquire supplies or funding. And then it also relates to social work, to the workforce, which connects to the social work workforce directly. If we're in a state of emergency, we need to be able to get the professionals who can help there faster. And frequently that relates to social work, including things like waiving certain licensing requirements or other things during the emergency to enable us to get where we need to do and do what is best for the state. In COVID-19, for example, the ability to bill telehealth and get reimbursed from insurance companies for telehealth practices has been directly connected to the emergency declaration. So we are against curtailing the governor's power to declare these emergencies. The first one would give the state legislature the ability to end it after with just a 50% vote. Or a slight majority vote, and the second would enable the legislature, would mean that every time we had an emergency declaration, it would automatically end after 21 days, regardless of whether the emergency is done or not. So we are against both of those initiatives. The third one would add equality on race or ethnicity to our state constitution. That one's a no-brainer for social workers, and we are very much in favor of that one. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to our PACE chair, Becca Zellner, to tell you a little bit more about voting.
Thank you, Joanna. I think Christy Jo said it best when she said that social work is voting. So it's very important for us to get out to the polls on May 18th. The last day to register to vote is Monday, May 3rd, and the last day to request an absentee ballot is Tuesday, May 11th. You can do all of these things online. It's super easy to just go online, check your voter registration status. If you haven't voted within the last 4 years, or you've recently made a change, such as moving or your name, you also need to re-register to vote at your new location or to match your photo ID. It's super important to get out to the polls this year due to these ballot initiatives that are going to be on this primaries ballot. We understand that primaries typically have a lesser turnout, but this year, this is important to get out on May 18th and make sure that we vote. In addition, if you are not registered under a party, typically you cannot vote in the primaries just because you wouldn't have anything on the ballot to vote for. However, if you are an independent or you're a registered non-affiliate, you do also see these ballot initiatives. So it's still very important for us to get out to the polls and vote on May 18th.